Hello and welcome to AM Language with another video with me, Richie. And I can now see that it has shown up on not Facebook, sorry. It has now shown up on YouTube, so people should be able to find it. I hope everyone is doing well and that you've all had a lovely weekend as well. Marek, good afternoon and welcome to today's lesson. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so in today's lesson, and there's going to be a bit of a theme throughout this week as well, we are going to look at alternatives to certain words. And today we will be looking at the alternatives to the word very. So we're going to try and increase our vocabulary. Sorry. Now, the good thing about this is just word building. So it doesn't matter what your level is, whether you're a low level or a high level. There will be something for everybody, which is great. Evelina, buono pomeriggio, and welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. Irina F, as always, privyet. Welcome to today's lesson, and thank you for joining. So, guys, as this is the start of the lesson, I will tell you what we are doing this week in this week's lessons. Now, the first thing I should tell you guys is, Roberto, good afternoon. Welcome to the lesson today. Now, the first thing I should tell you is the following. There will be lessons, obviously, today, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There won't be a lesson tomorrow afternoon because it's the only day that Friday. So today is going to be alternatives to very. Always a good one to know. And wait a minute. Connection. And I'm back. Okay, so there was an internet connection problem there. Anyway, I think everything should be fine. Like I was saying, today is alternatives to very. Wednesday, we're going to look at alternatives to the word beautiful. Thursday, alternatives to the word bad. And on Friday, we will then look at describing our taste in things, which will nicely, and the word, okay, tie in. A good verb to know, tie in. The lessons on Thursday for the comments. What's happening? Connect? I don't know. This internet connection is not sure why. Let me see. Okay, right. I might have to, hopefully everything will be okay. I'm a little bit worried about the internet connection. There seems to be something not quite right. Where I am at the moment, weather isn't great. Maybe that might be the reason. Anyway, I'd like to thank some of you who left comments from last lesson. So thank you so much for your comments. Alida, good afternoon, buenos dias. Thank you for your comment, actually, Alida, in the lesson on Friday. It was a really good sentence, and I replied to it just before the start of the lesson. So, important things here. While just before the actual lesson starts, I'll just like to tell you guys what you get this week at AM Language, if you are actually currently at AM Language. I don't know, assuming that you guys can hear me properly. Marek says, good afternoon. Yes, oh dear. Okay, and I think I'm back. Okay, guys, we'll see how we go. If the internet connection isn't great, I'll try and I'll just continue doing the lesson. But I think where I am, I think the internet is not great at the moment. This should not be a problem on Wednesday. But just to let you guys know, this week, if you go to AM Languages Facebook page, you will be able to see what the activities are for this week. There are a range of activities, most of them fairly normal. You've got the likes of the opportunity to go scuba diving, there's Latin dance, there's a football match, and obviously the opportunity to go to different parts of the island. So if you go to Facebook, you can see the program for this week. But let's get into today's lesson. If my connection goes, then look, this will not be a problem on Wednesday, hopefully. But at the moment, there seems to be a slight problem where I am. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay. So we're going to start off with the first one. Okay. Let's say you want to go with, and we always have to think of the adjectives. Okay. So I'm going to give you 3. And then I'm going to give you 3 alternatives. Okay. So A, we've got very fat. Now, it could be of different things. It doesn't always have to be a person. It can be an animal. We've got B, which will be very lazy. And let's go with very afraid, actually. I think that's a good one. Okay, so those are 3 ones, 3 words. And now let's look at the alternatives. So we have, let's go with 1, terrified. 2, and 3 we'll go with. Okay, so those are 3 words that we would use with very, and then we've got 3 alternatives at the bottom. Can you guys tell me which ones go with which? Alida has come in already with her answers. If you agree with Alida, let me know. Let me know. Let's see. So anyway, Alida has said A goes with 3, B goes with 2, and C goes with 1. Roberto agrees as well. Okay, and Arena F says 1 goes with C, 2 goes with B, and 3 goes with A. Okay, so far you're all giving me the same answers. So I can confirm the following. A. Oh, and Malik has come in with 1 is C, 2 is B, 3 is A. So these are the same answers, and Evelina agrees. Okay, guys, I can confirm A does in fact go with 3. Okay. We've got, we'll just go through the pronunciation as well. It's very important that we don't forget the pronunciation elements. Otherwise, it's no good. It's not complete. So when it comes to the pronunciation of this word, it would be this, okay? We've got obese, okay? So in terms of the, well, it's got an, you've got 2 options, actually. You can either go for obese or you can go for obese. Both would be acceptable. You've got obese and obese. If you go for, it doesn't matter if you go for obese or obese, the stress is always on the bis. Bis, actually, it should be bis. So it's obese or obese, actually, obese, obese. So it's a long vowel sound. It's ease, bees, bees. So it's obese. Okay, B, you guys have said 2, and I can confirm very lazy is in fact 2. Now, as for the pronunciation of this word, I don't know. I'm sure that if you're from a Latin-based language, you might see something similar with this word. But this is what the pronunciation is. Okay, so we've got this. Okay, So the pronunciation here is indolent. Indolent. Um, the stress is at the beginning, so it's indolent. He is indolent. She is being indolent. Okay, indolent. The stress is at the beginning of the word. And finally, we've got C goes with one. Yes, C goes with one, and this would be the word terrified. Really good word to know, actually. Um, Here we are. The pronunciation for this word, the stress the stress is going to come at the beginning of the word, so therefore the stress is on te, te, terrified, terrified. Okay. Uh, Actually, let me just rewrite that again. I put in terrify instead of terrified. That would be a mistake. Okay, terrified. All right, so terrified. There we go. So that is the pronunciation there. So let's see if you guys can now link these words and to the paragraph that I'm now going to write. Let's see how you guys. Let's see how you guys do. Okay, let's see if you guys can put the words above into the correct parts of this sentence. Well, actually, paragraph. You've got two sentences here. You've got to apply the words obese, terrified, and indolent into the actual brackets over here. So there's spaces here. So based on the context, can you put the correct words into their spaces? And that will be the start of it. So John is something, and it's worrying because he doesn't look healthy. He's become something, and I am something of him getting a heart attack. So let's see what your answers are, and then we'll move on to the next three words. Alida says John is obese, and it's worrying because he doesn't look healthy. He's become indolent, and I'm terrified of him getting a heart attack. Well, if you agree with Alida, just let me know underneath by saying that you agree. If you disagree, okay, so Roberta has come in and said John is indolent, and it's worrying because he doesn't look healthy. He's become obese, and I am terrified of him getting a heart attack. Okay, well, if you agree with Roberto, let me know. And if you think both Alida and Roberto are correct, then let me know as well. Marek agrees with Roberto. Okay, so guys, I think we've got off to a good start here. I'll tell you what the answers are. Okay, so for the first one, A, you've got, and B, actually, it's the same thing, really. You can swap them around. So for A, you could go with obese or indolent. And for B, you could go with indolent or obese. Both would make sense. in this case. Okay. I just realized I misspelled obese in the first one, actually. So let me just correct that. There we go. Evelina, very close. Just make sure the first letter in indolent is the I instead of the A's, or instead of the A. Okay. So, guys, well done. We're off to a great start. Let's move on to the next three. Um, we don't have an awful lot of time, so I want to try and go for the ones that I think might be most useful to you. I think these next three would be good to go with. So let's go with A, very smelly. B, let's go with very smooth. And C, we'll go with, let's go with very willing. So very happy to do something. Okay, so we've got very smelly, very smooth, and very willing. I should just say, I've just realized here that there could be a bit confusion if anyone's watching later because you've got two A's, but these are not related, okay? So we're now in part two. Part two, we're now just looking at very smelly, very smooth, and very willing, which means very happy. So you could say the cheese is very smelly. She is very willing to do the job, and you could say, oh, I forgot smooth. Um, he's a very smooth. Um, he's a very smooth driver, for example, or a very smooth skier. Okay, so you've got that's how you could probably use some of these. So let's go with it. One, the alternative to one. Let's see what you guys go with. Smelly is in a good way or in a bad way. It depends on the context. If you like cheese, you might say the smellier the better, but most of the time, smelly is usually bad. I can't think of I can't think of many examples of when we would say something is very smelly in a good context, except with cheese. Like stinky, yes, it's stinky would be an alternative. Absolutely. So we've got one which is, we'll go with eager. Two, slick, and three, we'll go with word pungent. Eager, sleek, and pungent. So let's see what you guys come out with. And there's an opportunity to learn more words. Sleek. So you got eager, sleek, pungent. 1, 2, 3. Try and link them to ABC. Okay. We'll see what you guys say, and then we'll create the extra context to help you out. If you know one of these or two of these, it will definitely help. Alida says A is 3, B is 2, and C is 1. Okay, so it means that if that's the case, I haven't changed. If that is the case, then it would mean I hadn't changed the order like before. I mean, sorry, it's the same order as before, I would think. If that's the case, we'll see. So anyway, A is 3, B is 2, C is 1. If you agree with the leader, just say that you agree with the leader. If you disagree with the leader, then let me know. So she is saying that A is okay. So Evelina agrees as well. So you're saying pungent is very smelly. Smooth, very smooth is sleek, and very willing is eager. All of you are agreeing actually with this one. Okay, so we are in complete agreement with one another here. So yes, A is 3, which would be the word pungent. Well done, Arena F as well. Okay, good stuff. So pungent, pungent. Um, you'll hear that when you say pungent, the stress is at the beginning. Pungent. Okay. Uh, B, yes, it is 2. It is the word sleek. Okay, this is a long sound. Sleek. It's the same E sound as beach. Okay. You've got sleek, you've got beach, you've got sheep. It's the same vowel sound. And C, you've got, sorry, 1. So this is C goes with 1, which is eager. Eager. Again, you've got this E sound there. Eager. Eager. Okay, let's see if you guys can complete the following sentences with these words. Okay, guys, see if you can complete it there. He is, ooh, wait a minute. Wrong, wrong article. There we go. Oh, no, I was right, actually. No, I corrected something because I thought I was wrong, but I am right. Okay, so he is a blank chef, and he's always blank to do well. But he does like to use cheese that, that are, that, that was the mistake. He does like to use cheese that is, sorry, not are, is. That is blank, which is not to everyone's taste. So let's see what you guys think there. See if you can put the correct answers in. Your choices are pungent, sleek, and eager. And then we'll move on to the next 3. And the next 3 will definitely be very useful. It's I'm trying to pick. I'm going to try and pick ones that I think would be useful to you guys to know, really. So Roberto says eager, sleek, and pungent is the order. Let's see if the others agree. Okay, I think I know the next 3 that I'm going to go with that I think would be useful to you guys. Definitely the sort of language that you're more likely to use, without question. And then for later, I'll share the link that I am using that could be of good use to you guys. Okay, so we've got eager, sleek, and pungent. for Roberto. If you agree with Roberto, let me know. But if you disagree, let me know as well. I'll give you guys just a few more minutes. I'm not sure what the connection is like. Hopefully it's good enough for you guys to follow without too much interruption. In Malta, I know that in Malta there was a really big storm over the weekend, so a few people have had some problems with their connection. Where I am, the weather's just really bad today. Alida says sleek, eager, and pungent. Okay, so you guys have so you guys disagree between the first and the second. Marek says slick, pungent, and eager. Okay, so you all have different answers here. Let's see what the answers are. So A goes with sleek. Now, the reason why we can tell this is going to be sleek in this context is because of the article a. If it was an, then it would be an eager chef. But because it's just the article a, then we know it has to be a consonant sound, and the only option that's going to make sense is sleek. So A is sleek. This means B is eager. It's always eager to do well, and eager to do well is fairly common. I'm eager to do well. I'm eager to play well. I'm eager to sing well. Okay, and then C. This is going to be pungent. Okay. So well done, guys. In good stuff. Let's now move on to part 3. For this, I'm actually going to use the words in context and see if you guys can work out what the words mean in context. Okay. So for this one, we're going to do something slightly different. Okay, let's do it this way. We've got A, B, and C again. The room was immaculate, but the situation was perilous because of the wicked witch that lived next door. I'm now going to give you some options. I'm going to give you 6 options, and you need to choose 3 of the options. Okay, so I'm just going to change things up a little bit in terms of the way we're doing things here. Um, and the last one. So you need to choose. You've got 6 options here, but you can see that for each of the options, there are the opposites. So if you're choosing between very good or very evil, you think it's very good, say very good. If you think it's very evil, go with very evil. Same with very tidy and very untidy, very safe, very risky. You need to choose one of the options for each option. So in total, there are 3 options, and for every 3 options, there are 2 options to choose from. So total, I suppose, 6. But let's see what you guys go with. Okay, so for example, you might say A is very good. Okay, but you cannot say very good slash very bad, because that's not going to make sense. So you need to. Okay, so that's just for example. So you could say very good if you think A is very good, but if you think it's very bad, then say very bad, or um, very safe, or very risky. So make sure you only choose one of these options. So Alidus has said A is very tidy, B is very risky, and C is evil. Ah, very evil. Yes. Okay. Yes, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, good. Let's see. Do you guys agree with Alida? If you do, then just say you agree. Marek says very tidy, very risky, very evil. Okay, so you have the same answers, Marek. Let's see. Do the others agree with you? Well, Roberto has come in and said very tidy, very risky, and evil as well. So you all agree with one another. Um, let's see what the correct answers are. Okay, so all of you agree with each other. Well, I will tell you. A is, you are correct. Very tidy. B, you are also correct. Very risky. And C, which is very evil. So well done. So now I'm going to give you guys a slightly harder challenge here. Can you create 3 sentences of your own with these 3 adjectives? Alida, I didn't put very evil because I thought evil is a non-gradable adjective. That's a really good question. You know what, Alida? I'm going to be totally honest with you. That is something that I need to double check, because if I think it might be gradable evil, because you can, just like saying very good, very bad, very good, very evil, in the context, I think it can be gradable. You only get to, obviously, to the point if you end up at an extreme. I know you can definitely use ones like, what's they called, like extremely evil. So there is an element of gradability with it, but it's a really good one. I probably just need to do a little, I need to look into that myself just to confirm. I think it might be gradable, but if it isn't gradable, then you would be correct. I have heard people use very with the word evil before, but just because people use it doesn't mean it's correct. So it's a good one. It's a good one to question. I'll have to look that one up, actually. So, can you create 3 sentences of your own with these 3 adjectives? I forgot to put the S on there. With these 3 adjectives. Okay, so just remind ourselves, we've got, as our choice of 3 adjectives, we've got immaculate, perilous, and wicked. So 3 of your own sentences. When it comes to the pronunciation of these, immaculate, The syllable stress is on the a, immaculate. Then you've got perilous, perilous, stresses on at the beginning, and then finally wicked. There's a famous musical called Wicked. Okay, so let's see how you guys do. Go. I mean, look, this is always the harder type of activity when you need to think of your own sentences. But don't forget, these are adjectives. Therefore, you're always going to have your subject plus verb, and then whatever you're going to do next, you'll need your adjective. You could also sometimes have to think of your subject plus verb plus article plus adjective plus noun, for example. So those are just two example structures. So if you're not too sure, they are adjectives. And therefore, if you're going to finish with a noun, then you need an article, or you'll probably are going to need an article. But if you don't need an article, if you don't use a noun after the adjective and you're going to end your sentence with an adjective, then you can just go subject, verb, and then adjective at the end. So let's see what you guys come up with here. Yeah, I mean, look, trying to produce the language yourself is always a lot harder, but it's really good to get into the habit of doing that. At the end of the lesson here, I will then share with you a good link that you guys can, I mean, a link that can take you to a good sort of sheet that you can work off if you want to increase the range of your vocabulary on some of these things. So let's see what you guys come up with. You need to create 3 sentences, and you need a sentence with immaculate, perilous, and wicked. The conditions of the sea was perilous, for example. He was wicked. The room is immaculate, for example. So Alina says the operating room always needs to be immaculate. So that's a good sentence. Well done, Alida. That makes a lot of sense. Well done there. Let's see if anyone else would like to come out with any other examples. Let's see what the others might go with here. Or let's see what your other sentences are. Malik says, not all hospitals are not immaculate in the world. Oh, really close. What you didn't need to use not twice. To make that sentence better, not all hospitals are immaculate. That would be the correct sentence. Not all hospitals are immaculate. You don't need to use not again before the adjective, because you started your sentence with not. So you don't need to repeat yourself there. Okay. I just need to take some water. I'm happy to see that my internet connection improved. Yes, only one negative. Yes, Marek, yeah, only one negative is required. Not all hospitals are immaculate. Not all schools are immaculate. If you didn't start off with the negative, then you could put not at some point later on. Elida has then gone with the weather was awful and our trip turned to be perilous. Ah, close. Our trip, instead of turned, you would go with this, okay? Slight diff. I mean, you can turned. You know what? You've got two options here. Became perilous, turned perilous. Maybe turned perilous, but it's not the usual word I would go with. Um, I would just go. I would go with became perilous. Okay, became perilous. Perilous would be the more natural way of writing this. You wouldn't need to use turned to be. Could you say that our trip turned perilous? You could potentially say our trip turned perilous, but it's not the most natural one in terms of word linkage. The most likely word that we're going to use in that context would be became, because something becomes perilous. It became perilous. I'm trying to think of when you could use turn. Maybe turned out to be. You could get away with this one, Alida, as well. It turned out to be perilous. You could say that. That would make sense. Okay, Roberto says the clothes are immaculate. Yeah, that's a good sentence, and that makes that reads well. Okay, guys, let's go for one last one. So the rescuers have to perilous other people. Oh, I see what you're going for there. You've just confused things up a little bit. Rescuers. I understood what you're trying to say. Have to save people from perilous situations. That would make sense. Or rescuers have to put themselves in perilous situations to save others. You could say that. That would make sense. So, Marek, you have a couple of options there. You were really close. Evelina says, which are different, perilous and dangerous? Perilous and dangerous. What's this is a what question. What's the difference? Perilous and dangerous in many contexts could be the same. They are synonyms for each other because dangerous can mean risky, for example. It's a dangerous journey. It's a perilous journey. It's a risky journey. So they are synonyms of each other, Evelina. In many situations, in many examples, you could use them as a direct synonym. Okay, guys, so that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Thank you so much for participating in the lesson. I'm going to share a link here in the live comments at the end. I'll share it in the live one as well. I think it works. It should work at least. But it's a link to it's a link to Pinterest. And there, if you click on the link, I'm going to try it myself actually. So just to see, it should work. But yeah, if you click on the link, it will take you to Pinterest and it will show you the what I've been looking at today in terms of the basis to give you today's lesson. You can find a lot of good things on Pinterest, especially when it comes to learning languages. You've got a lot of sort of easy to digest sort of visuals. Roberto says, thank you. Have a good evening. You too, Roberto. Alida says, thanks. Have a nice trip. Thank you, Alida. Evelina says, have a great evening. You too. And thanks, Richard. Have a pleasant flight. Thank you very much, Irina F. And Marek says, take care, Richard, and have a nice evening. Thank you, you guys. So like I said, guys, at the start of the lesson, there won't be a lesson tomorrow, but I will be back on Wednesday at 3 o'clock with another live lesson. Thank you for joining. Make sure you like and share the video. Subscribe if you're new, and see you on Wednesday. Bye for now.